Rahmanir Rahim. So yesterday we spoke of the masla of that if you married upon goods, then we mentioned here that she got the exact goods back that he got the exact goods back that he gave her. So therefore, and we also mentioned وَلِهَذَا لَمْ يَكُنْ لَهَا دَفُ شَيْءٍ آخَرَ مَكَانَهُ, and for this reason, she cannot give anything else in place of the goods, because the goods is what he gave her, and if there's talaq before dukhul, then she must give that same half of those goods back. بخلاف ما إذا كان المهر دينا now. Contrary to when the meher was a debt. So that was going back to that first masala. فإن تزوج على ألف فقبضتها وهبت له ثم طلقها قبل الدخول رجع عليها ب500. Right? Then that is different now. Because it's not like goods. Rather, it was 1,000 on his responsibility. وبخلاف ما إذا باعت من زوجها لأنه وصل إليه ببدل, and contrary to when she sold the goods back to her husband. So but she sold it back to him now. Now the goods has reached him. He had to pay for it. So now she still owes him then half the value of the goods for talaq قبل الدخول. Right. ولو تزوج على حيوان أو عروض في الذمة فكذلك الجواب. Right. Um, and if he married upon an animal or goods in the responsibility, in other words, he married on something that was not fixed, but rather it was on his responsibility. He had to still go get the goods. He had to still go get the animal and give a share. It wasn't pointed out, right? Then the answer will be the same. In other words, uh, he cannot claim from her anything, right? Because once he got the goods, right, or the animal, and he gave it to her as meher, and she gave it back to him, then the exact thing that was he deserved what talaq qabl dukhul, he got it back. You understand it? And then I explain لأن المقبوض متعين في الرد, because that which has been taken possession of becomes specific in returning. So once he got the animal, maybe he had the animal, or maybe he still had to buy the animal, right? Or once he had the goods, maybe he had the goods, or he still had to buy the goods. And once he gave it to her, now that's the thing that needs to be returned back. So, and that's what she gave it back to him. You understand it? So, what he's supposed to get back, he got back. Right. وهذا لأن الجهالة تحملت في النكاح. And this is, right, firstly, the nikah is valid, right? Because an ignorance of this type of meher is born in nikah. You understand? So here obviously meant animal, in other words, he just said horse. They didn't say animal, because then it's complete jahalat, total jahalat. But he said, I'll give you a horse, all right? Now at least you must give the average horse, because it's different categories, their types, right? So this type of ignorance it can be born, or is tolerated, can be tolerated in nikah. فإذا عين يصير كأن التسمية وقعت عليه. So once it became specific now, it will become as though the tasmiyah took place on it. So it's as though when he gave her the horse afterwards and she accepted that horse, it's as though he pointed out the horse at the time of the nikah. You understand it? Right. وإذا تزوجها على ألف على ألا يخرجها من البلدة أو على ألا يتزوج عليها أخرى فإن وفى بالشرط فلها المسمى. And if he marries her upon 1,000, upon the condition that he won't take her out from the hometown, from the city, or on the condition that he won't marry another woman over her, then if he fulfills the shart, that condition, then she will get what has been mentioned. Maybe she dropped the meher, but she gave these one strict condition or two strict conditions, right? لأنه صلح مهرا وقد تم رضاها به, because the 1,000 is suitable to be a meher. It's not under the lease meher. You understand? So it's suitable to be a meher, and her happiness is complete with the 1,000. وإن تزوج عليها أخرى أو أخرجها فلها مهر مثلها. And if he marries another woman over her, or he took her out of the town, then for her he is now meher misal. You understand? Her meher misal. لأنه سمى ما لها فيه نفع, because he has mentioned that which there is for her in it benefit. In other words, by not marrying another woman, there's benefit for her. By not taking her out of her hometown, there's benefit for her, right? فَإِنْدَ فَوَاتِهِ يَنْعَدِمُ رَضَاهَا بِالْأَلْفِ. So at the time of losing this benefit, her happiness will be non-existent with 1,000, will no more be there with 1,000. She won't be happy on that low amount of 1,000. فَيُكْمَلُ مَهْرُ مِثْلِهَا. So her mehri misal will now be completed. كما في تسمية الكرامة والهدية مع الألف. Right? Just in, like in mentioning honor and gifts with the 1,000. So in other words, another scenario is where uh, she says, your meher, I'll give you 1,000 meher, and I will also honor you, and or I will give you a gift. So if he doesn't honor her, and if he doesn't give her a gift, then she'll get meher misal. You understand it? Right. ولو تزوجها على ألف إن أقام بها وعلى ألفين إن أخرجها فإن أقام بها فلها الألف وإن أخرجها فلها مهر المثل لا يزاد على ألفين ولا ينقص عن الألف وهذا عند أبي حنيفة رحمه الله تعالى. And if he married her upon 1,000, if he stayed with her, or upon a 2,000, if he took her out, then if he stayed with her, then she's going to get 1,000. And if he took her out, then she's going to get meher misal, right? But then meher misal won't be increased over 2,000. It won't go more than 2,000. And it will not decrease lower than 1,000. And this is according to Imam Hanifa rahmatullah alayh. وَقَالَ الشَّرْطَانِ جَمِيعًا جَائِزَانِ. Saibin say both the conditions are correct. حتى كان لها الألف إن قام بها. So much so that she's going to get 1,000 if he stayed with her in her hometown. والألفان إن أخرجها, and 2,000 if he took her out. وقال الزبر رحمة الله الشرطان جميعا فاسدان. Imam Zubair rahmatullah say both the sharts are fasid. ويكون لها مهر مثلها لا ينقص من ألف ولا يزداد على ألفين. So he say both the conditions are incorrect, and she's going to get meher misal, but that meher misal won't decrease less than 1,000 and won't increase over 2,000. وأصل المسألة في الإجارات في قوله إن خذته اليوم فلك درهم وإن خذته غدا فلك نصف درهم وسنبينها فيه إن شاء الله تعالى. And the origin of this masla actually is in Kitabul Ijara, in his statement that if you sow it today, then you're going to get 1 dirham. And if you sow it by tomorrow, you're only going to get half a dirham. Then soon we will explain it there, inshallah ta'ala. ولو تزوجها على هذا العبد أو على هذا العبد فإذا أحدهما أوكس والآخر أرفع فإن كان مهر مثلها أقل من أوكسهما فلها الأوكس وإن كان أكثر من أرفعهما فلها الأرفع وإن كان بينهما فلها مهر مثلها وهذا عند أبي حنيفة رحمه الله تعالى. Right, so if he married her upon this slave or upon that slave, see, I'll marry you and your marriage is this slave or that slave, then it turned out that the one slave is low, ocus, got low value, and the other one's got a high value, right? Then you make meher misal the judge, right? So how is meher misal? So if a meher misal is less than ocus, then the least lesser of the two, then she's gonna get ocus, right? And if her meher misal is more than arfa, the higher one of the two, then she's gonna get arfa. And if the meher misal is in between the two, then she's going to get meher misal. And this is according to Imam Hanifa rahmatullah alayh. فَقَالَ لَهَا الْأَوْكَسُ بِذَلِكَ كُلِّهِ. And Saibin says she'll get the awkas, the lesser value slave, in that, in all those cases. They goes for the least amount, right? The lesser slave. فَإِن طَلَّقَهَا قَبْلَ الدُّخُولِ بِهَا فَلَهَا نِصْفُ الْأَوْكَسِ فِي ذَلِكَ كُلِّهِ بِالْإِجْمَاعِ. Then if we divorce her before dukhul with her, then she's going to get half of the okras in all those cases with consensus. She's going to get half of okras. Even Imam Bani Varana says, when it's talaq before the khul, you go for half of okras. Right. لهما أن المصير إلى مهر المثل لتعذر إيجاب المسمى. Saiben said resorting to mehr misal is when when it's difficult to make the musamma wajib. That is what was mentioned. You finding it's difficult or it's almost impossible to make it wajib. وقد أمكن الإيجاب الأوكسي, and making the aukas wajib is possible in this case is al-aqallu mutayakkanun, because the least amount is definite. The least amount is definite. You understand it? I must 2 rakats or 3 rakats. You must 2. 2 is definite. You definitely must 2. You understand it? Possibility of 3. So the 2 is definite. So the least amount is always definite, right? وَصَارَ كَالْخُلَعِ وَالْإِعْتَاقِ عَلَى مَالٍ. And it becomes just like khula' and i'taq ala mal. When he says, I make khula, she may say, she offers her. Khula is always from the wife. I make khula with the slave or that slave. Or he says, I divorce you upon the slave or that slave. Then it will be okas. They all say it will be okas here, right? The okas becomes what the name? Or leave it till